What's your reaction to the dynamics playing out in the oil markets?
Yes, we have seen an aggressive fall. You mentioned 8% on Friday. I think we saw a couple of 6% drops last week also. I mean, we've seen a 2% rebound of some sort today, but we could go lower. I mean, we the rate and the speed in which we have used to smash all support levels is not encouraging. We've seen a decrease in global demand of oil. When President Trump gave the waiver on a couple of countries that can now acquire oil from Iran, that also has contributed to the drop. Increase in production in U.S. shale has contributed. And, the economic uncertainty, global economic uncertainty, is not giving confidence. So at the moment, we are not seeing anything that might stop the drop.
What about OPEC? OPEC generally are always seen to be the cartel that can try to move things in one direction or the other, of course, working with Russia. But do you get the sense that there's that togetherness within OPEC to stabilize prices, or do you think that there are other factors at play here? So
if you think about it, well, it's the uncertainty. Very early hours of this morning, we heard of a Russian warship, taking over a Ukrainian warship, which means Russia will have its own issues. We have Saudi Arabia having this issue with the Khashoggi murder, and we know clearly, he has not minced his words, Trump is at war with OPEC. He believes it's a cartel that's intentionally increasing oil prices. So if we have a very receptive Saudi Arabia based on what is going on currently with their foreign affairs issues with Khashoggi, meaning that they would be very lenient to what the United States president has got to say. So it's really, it looks like
they can pump the most oil, obviously.
Exactly. So it looks like an out-and-out war between the U.S. and OPEC. And with Russia now with more or other things on their mind, we just really can't see, I mean, we're discussing earlier, a number of people have said it's fallen too far, too fast. But middle of October, we were 30% higher than where we are now, and we've fallen 30% in less than 4 weeks.
But looking back, I think it's a good point you made earlier when we were discussing this, that the rise was really sharp from the fall of close to 30.
Exactly.
We moved all the way to close to 90. And so, at some point, there should be some correction. So that makes sense.
Yeah, we thought
from a technical,
of course, without a doubt, because we did rally all the way back up to, I think about Brent went to 88, very fast. But a lot of that was based on the fact that these sanctions that were coming in for Iran, no one was permitted to. So the Iran supply would not have come onto the global markets. The minute America gave the waiver on a few countries to acquire from Iran, the drop started. And this out-and-out war with OPEC, where he wants reduced oil prices, it just looks like it could get worse. We're looking forward to what OPEC has got to say at the next meeting, but it's not inspiring.
Certainly. And it's interesting you make this, you describe this as a war between the U.S., so to speak, Trump, and OPEC.
Yes.
Do you think OPEC can win this war? Do you get the sense that the days when OPEC was a formidable cartel globally are over, or do you think that they still have some?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, yes, Saudi Arabia are, arguably the largest producers, but yes, OPEC are very, very, very much so. The issue we have here, like I mentioned, is there are other factors. A number of oil-producing countries are having issues within themselves, and the general slowdown in the global economy. Now, if we were experiencing a high demand in the global economy, Trump would not be able to, do that much. So as much as Saudi Arabia would decide to pump out barrels of oil, OPEC will just continue to cut. But at the moment, there's just so much uncertainty, and every single last player seems to be embroiled in their own issues, that we don't really know. We're looking forward to what they're going to say at their next meeting, which I think is sometime next week. But so far, it doesn't seem as if they've been able to react. They haven't really come out to say anything or passed any statements that would stop the slide.
Right.
But we're expecting them to come up with something. And it'll be very interesting to see how prices react to when they eventually come out with a clear statement.
Potentially, the shale producers are a source of supply, significant supply to the world.
Yes.
And there was a time when there was that view that the shale producers will just continue to produce more and more as long as oil stays. I think many were suggesting about $50 a barrel.
Yes.
What's your sense about the potential supply from shale producers, and what could that mean for oil prices going forward?
Well, with a number of things that's going on in the global economy now, we're not particularly sure if we're going through a supply-demand that's determining price.
Yeah.
It looks like other issues, a number of statements. I mean, we have an American president like no one before, and he could come up with a statement and he would actually move oil price. You know, it's not really demand supply. So in as much as we would like to think that it's the oversupply of shale that could continuously move the oil price, I very much doubt it. I don't think it would stay this low or continue to drop for so long. But in the immediate term, for this year in particular, we could see it continuously drop.
How much further do you think it could potentially drop? Because I guess that's what many people would like to hear. Could we see sub 50, for instance? Do you think that's potential?
We've seen sub 50 in
of course,
WTI.
we've seen that before.
Sub 50 in Brent at the moment. I mean, we went. I would like to say it not to be possible. If we think about it, 2 weeks ago we're on $87. Today we're at $61. We're talking about a 25–30% drop in less than 4 weeks. So I would like to think at the very worst we will go to 50. But I'll be honest. I'll be very honest to say I have not got the slightest idea. We're waiting to see.
It's always the most difficult thing to call, right?
It's so uncertain at the moment, especially in the current global climate. It's just. And the speed in which it's breaking the support resistance levels, we've got to wait to see what OPEC have got to say.
All right, Gbite, I really have to move on. But